When the world is just too much, turn it off and turn on positive, encouraging K-Love.
I'm gonna praise.
World off. K-Love on.
K-Love is sunshine for my soul.
I love K-Love.
Listen now on your radio, online, or on the free K-Love app.
K-Love makes me feel so good.
Positive, encouraging K-Love.
Hey everybody, it's Steve here again with a bit of a special episode featuring a feed drop of the Eyewitness History podcast. In this episode of the Eyewitness History podcast, host Josh Cohen speaks with the former principal of Columbine High School, Frank DeAngelis. Frank and Josh discuss the events of the tragic shooting, what the police were doing at the time of the shooting, as well as the potential motivations of the two shooters, Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold. They also discuss the infamous basement tapes, as well as seeing Klebold the previous week at the prom, in addition to a lot more. I think you will learn a ton from this episode. It really helps shed even more on a really tragic episode in American history, where speaking with people who were actually there, which is what Josh does in Eyewitness History. So definitely go and check out Josh's podcast, and I will talk to you soon.
Let's jump right into it, Frank. Walk me through, please, then, April 20th, 1999. Where were you and how did you find out that there was something wrong?
Yeah. Well, on April 20th, a beautiful, beautiful Colorado spring day. We have snow, but we have sunshine about 300 days out of the year. And it was one of those beautiful days. But I didn't start out at Columbine. I actually started out at our students were future business leaders of America were receiving awards. So they invited me to be there to, congratulate them. So I'm late getting back to Columbine. And when I got back, I was looking for a teacher, Kiki Leba, whose student taught at Columbine. He was on a one-year contract, and we had interviewed him the day before, and it was a no-brainer. We were going to hire this guy. He was fantastic. The kids loved him, just a great addition. But I couldn't find him. And all of a sudden, when he came to my office, it was right at the beginning of A lunch. And we had two lunches, A lunch and B lunch. So I'm late getting downstairs for A lunch. Well, I'm sitting in my office and getting ready to talk to Kiki. And to this day, I'm not sure if I ever offered him the job. And we kind of laugh about it now, but he's still working at Columbine 23 years later. Wow. But the reason being is before I could offer him that, the job and welcome to the Columbine family, Rebels for Life, we're Columbine Rebels. And my secretary comes running towards the door. And I remember it so vividly. There was a little window just literally face planted there. And I knew something was wrong. And she opened the door and she said, Frank, there's been a report of gunfire, bombs exploding, and it's not registering. I mean, I had been there for 20 years. I could count on two hands the number of fistfights we had. And so the first thing I'm thinking, it has to be a senior prank. We're about a month away from graduation. And so run out of my office and tell her to, call police 911. And mind you, 23 years ago, the only drills we did in Colorado were fire drills. And now you look at all the drills that the kids are learning from the time they enter elementary school, run, hide, and fight drills, secure the perimeter line. We never had any of that. We did the best we could. So when I ran out of my office, Kiki went down one way, I went the other. And as soon as I came out the office, on my office doors, my worst nightmare became a reality because I encountered the gunman. And I remember it so vividly, and everything just seemed to slow down. And later, what I learned was you go through something called fight, flight, and freeze. And I went through and I thought I walked out very calmly, but I remember very distinctly what the gunman was wearing: baseball cap turned backwards, white cutoff T-shirt, black vest, boots. And I just remember the shots being fired and glass breaking behind me. And all I kept thinking about, and it just slowed down, and all I kept thinking about, what it was going to feel like to have a bullet pierce my body. because I had never in my life encountered anything like that. And so I thought I walked very calmly, but I actually sprinted towards the gunman. And I know when my secretary, Susan White, and Kiki Leba saw me later outside, they were shocked because the last they saw me, I was sprinting right towards the gunman. And I've had police officers say, Frank, why? You're unarmed. Why did you sprint towards one gunman? And one reason only. My girls, I had some kids that were in trouble. And there were about 25 girls that were coming out of the locker room to go to a physical education class, and they were unaware of what was happening. And I hurriedly got them there. And I knew in my mind that if I got them into the gym and we'd be able to shut the door, and then once I was able to check outside to see if it was safe, because there was a report of snipers outside, snipers on the building. I said, once I got them outside, we'd be in a safe place. Well, everything was going as planned. I'm keeping them calm. And then all of a sudden I pull on the gym door and it's locked and we're in trouble. And the girls are screaming, girls start praying, and literally the gunman is turning the corner. We hear the sounds of the shots getting closer, the boots on the ground. And I had about 35 keys on a key ring. And I was a principal that I wore a suit every day or sport coat every day. I reached in my pocket, and the first key I pulled out, I stuck in the door and it opened it on the first try. And it wasn't that this key was specially marked. And now when I go out and do presentations with people, I said, if you need to get to that key, if you need to get to that button, you need to be able to do it quickly. This key was not specially marked. It was just mingled in with all the others. And I was so fortunate to be able to do that on the first try, because if I didn't, more than likely I wouldn't be conducting this interview and those girls would have died. And it was several years ago, Columbine girls softball team was playing in the state championship. And so I'm at the game, and all of a sudden a young lady comes up to me, and I recognized her. She was one of the girls with me on April 20th. And she's crying. I'm crying, get pretty emotional. And she spins me around. She said, Mr. D, do you see that girl there in right field? I said, yeah. She said, thank you for finding that key, because that's my daughter. And if you didn't find that key, she wouldn't be playing in this game. And it got very emotional. And so it was from there, I immediately went outside. And the thing that's so disturbing, and there's no one to blame, but it was a protocol at the time to secure the perimeter.
Right.
You know, and we had a school resource officer that was exchanging gunfire, and he was being told that you can't go in until the SWAT team arrived. And that was one of the most frustrating things in talking to the 300 or 400 people that were trapped in the building. They were being told help is on the way. And all of a sudden, all these officers are arriving, paramedics are arriving, but no one's coming in the building. And I got outside, and I was actually helping the police officers draw floor plans. At one point, they were going to put a body armor on me to go in the building, shut off the fire alarm, because it was so loud that the SWAT team could not communicate once they did arrive. And so by the time the SWAT team got there, it was about 58 minutes after the original shots were fired. And it's not the police's fault. I have defended them to the very max, because that was a protocol. And I even was on the street with many of the officers who were friends of mine, and they said, this is crazy. We've been sworn to protect and serve, and we're standing outside. But that was a protocol at the time. Now you look at the protocol, first officers are immediately going in, and most of these events are over within 3 to 5 minutes. So that's what happened on that particular day.
When the world is just too much, turn it off and turn on positive, encouraging K-Love.
I'm gonna praise.
World
I praise the
off. K-Love on.
K-Love is sunshine for my soul.
I love K-Love.
Listen now on your radio, online, or on the free K-Love app.
K-Love makes me feel so good.
Positive, encouraging K-Love.
The Historical Jesus Podcast is the sweeping saga of the life and times of Galilean Jesus of Nazareth, as well as the faith, religion, and church founded to honor and disseminate his acts and teachings. Join me, Mark Vinette, on this fascinating journey through time, exploring the many great works of Christian theology, literature, architecture, music, and art inspired by the words and deeds of Jesus Christ.